everyone. I am Patricia Hogan. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I Have a Dream speech is one of the most memorable in the United States of America. The speech was delivered on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. on August 28, 1963. 250,000 people gathered for this march. They gathered for march for jobs and freedom and to urge Congress and President Kennedy to pass the National Civil Rights Bill. The purpose of the march was for the increase the need for jobs and economic opportunity for African Americans. I'm happy to join with you today in what will go down in the history of the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great America in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of wilderness injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lived in a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. And so we have come today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we come to our nation capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they will sign a promissory note. But to all men, that all men, yes, black men and white men, will be guaranteed the unalienable rights of liberty, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has default on the promissory note. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vault of opportunity of this nation. So we have come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and security of justice. We cannot walk alone. As we walk, we must make a pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those who are asking the devotees of civil rights, when will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is victim of unspeakable horror of police brutality. We can never be satisfied as long as our bodies, heavy with fatigue of travel, cannot gain lodging in the motels of the highways and the hotels of the city. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro basic mobility is from a smaller ghetto to a larger one. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity by signs stating for whites only. We cannot be satisfied as long as a Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and a Negro in New York, he has nothing for which to vote. No, no, no. We are not satisfied. And we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I said to you today, my friends. And so even though we face the difficulty of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in American dreams. I have a dream that one day the nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of his creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked place will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is the hope, and this is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discord of our nation into beautiful sympathy of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. And this will be the day when all God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country, tears of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim pride, for every mountainside let freedom reign. And when this happens, and when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.